Hi, thanks for joining me today for this week's episode of Reclaim Your Peace with Mother Earth. I'm Stephanie Lindloff. I am an eco-intuitive life coach. I help women who are struggling with anxiety and self-doubt. I help you to reclaim your peace, and it is all possible through a deepened connection with Mother Earth, with the nature that you love so much. And today I wanted to touch on something that is so appropriate at this time of year, which is how we can learn from the earth about aging well, aging gracefully. And the fall garden is an especially wise teacher for you and on this topic, especially if you are experiencing any anxiety or even grief about the process of aging, because we all go through it, right? We all go through it. So let's take a new perspective of aging. Let's look at it through nature's lens and allow that to reawaken the wisdom that you have within yourself on how you too can ease your anxiety as you age well and gracefully. And this is such a great time of year, of course, to be talking about this because it is fall here in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm in Northern Illinois. It's a little rainy and windy outside today, so I'm indoors. But you can see that the colors are changing. It's beautiful. It is the time of year that so many people love. It's that cozy, comfy time when all of the, landscape has these beautiful tones of reds and golds and browns, and it's just so lovely. And of course, we know that that starts to transition, right? So in November, we're going to have all of the leaves down off of the trees, and things for some people may start feeling a little bleak. It's a time of year where a lot of people struggle with seasonal depression or, other mental health struggles. So I really wanted to touch on this today because it's such an important time of year to understand how Mother Earth is offering you so much peace and healing if we just allow those messages to come through. So, of course, the fall is a point of transition. We see it in nature all around us. It's so obvious, especially here in the Northern Hemisphere in the upper Midwest. And it's also a magical time because all sorts of spiritual and cultural transitions consider this to be a point of transition in the year, a time when the veil between the seen and the unseen worlds is especially thin. This is something that has been a belief and an understanding of how we relate with nature throughout our existence as human beings here on Earth. And so it's no surprise that this is a time of year when we start to look at we honor our ancestors, we begin to reflect more about aging and even, dying and all of these things that can bring up some anxieties for a lot of us. And as I said at the beginning, looking to Mother Earth for guidance and wisdom and compassionate, loving messages is so important for all of us, especially at these times of year where we're in a point of transition. So it may be bringing up some discomfort or a little sense of dread for the winter that's to come. I want you to know that we can look to our gardens, especially the gardens that we have planted with native plants, as a messenger for so much wisdom that we have to gain from Mother Earth at this time of year. Hi, everybody. So glad to have you here. I would love to hear any thing that you have to contribute to the chat. It's always so great to see that there are people joining live. And welcome, of course, if you are viewing the replay. And know that this is a message that you are meant to be hearing. You have been guided to this episode today for a variety of reasons. So I encourage you to just keep your ears open and listen to any messages that may come forward for you in this teaching. It's this time of year is really about it gives us the invitation to honor our own life cycle, right? The passing of the seasons, the 4 seasons throughout the year, the wheel of the year is really it's a microcosm of our grander life cycle. So when we, especially if we have anxiety or a sense of any kind of emotion that doesn't feel good related to aging, this is the time of year to allow your heart to be open to the messages that are coming forward for you through Mother Earth and through your beautiful and loving intuition. Now, why are the gardens so healing at this time of year? Well, first of all, I will say that one of the big things that so many of us have been taught throughout our time here on Earth, if you've had any experience with gardening at all, it's that we should clean everything up right now, right? That everything is starting to die, doesn't look as pretty, isn't as colorful, isn't as vivid, no longer green. So many gardeners are taught that we should get out there and chop it all down, right? That we need to clean that up. That's just messy. That just looks old and dead and tired. And, we need to clean it up so that everything looks fresh. Well, imagine if we had that same approach to our own lives. And so many of us do, right? It's this feeling that things that are aging or things that have gone past their full bloom, that they have no more value, that there's no potential there, that there's no more opportunities, and we just need to get rid of it. Now, if that is a mindset that when you're, honest with yourself, that you may have, I encourage you to take a look at how that mindset that you apply to your garden also applies to your own thinking about your aging in this beautiful life that you are living right now. And I, as a gardener, growing up as a gardener, I was taught that everything needed to be chopped down at this time of year, that there is no value to it, that it's, it doesn't hold any aesthetic beauty, that there's no reason to keep it. We just need to chop it down and compost it. However, when you start to recognize the extraordinary and vital value that plants have in the fall and throughout the winter, it will shift your mindset because you will begin to see how much life these plants continue providing to nature all around you. And really, fall, rather than a time of decay and dormancy and death, it's the beginning of rebirth. Right now in nature, it's the very beginning of rebirth, the rebirth that so many of us love to see in the spring. That starts now, and especially with native plants, because right now is when they are putting out an abundance of seed that will both allow the plant to continue on and to come back in the spring, but also for birds and mammals and all sorts of other creatures to rely upon through the fall and winter months for sustenance. Plants also provide a lot of cover, a place for animals to hibernate, a place for them to seek cover when the weather gets rough in the winter, which it definitely does in the northern Midwest. And so when we think about the importance of allowing these plants to really live out their full life cycle into the spring, this allows for a healthy, graceful, and so much more vital, so much more life in your garden. when you leave those plants up. So if you haven't cut them down yet, I encourage you to leave up all of your plants. This is your permission slip to stop doing the fall garden cleanup. I know, so many people say that this is the time to do it. It is not if you are interested in benefiting nature. So leave those plants up. If you really can't stand it and you need to cut some down, cut them down so that there's about 6 to 8 inches of stem remaining. And those stems will be used in the future by bees and other insects that need to have a hollow stem to overwinter and to go on and come back, be reborn in the spring. So this is the time when rebirth begins. And I want you to think about how that applies to your own life. How can you see this time of your life as a time of rebirth, a time when there are new opportunities and new potential all in front of you when you choose to see the value that you have at any age, the purpose that you have in your life at any age. And our gardens remind us that this is a cyclical process. It's not about getting to a certain point in time and then cashing it all in and just saying, oh, well, I've hit 60. It's my time is done. I'm just going to punch it in for the rest of my life. Not so, not so. And when we have that mindset that every point in our life that resembles the fall is really an opportunity to be reborn, just like Mother Earth, then we can really step into your natural wisdom, your soul's wisdom. You can hear your loving and compassionate soul guiding you, assuring you that now is a vital time of life. And this allows us to ease our anxiety about aging. It allows us to see the opportunities that are offered to you because of your life experiences that you have gained through the process of aging. We all do it, right? So we may as well embrace it and see the value of it. And when we see the beauty of a fall garden into the winter, I just want to tell you, I'm actually in our living room, which is in the front of our house. We have these nice big windows that face the front yard. And when we bought the house, the woman who was selling the house had her couch it was facing towards the room with the back to the windows. And I think a lot of people do that, because the fireplace is on one side. She wanted to look at the fireplace. But when we started restoring the front yard with all of these native plants and have seen the abundance of life and beauty that extends into the winter months, the birds and all of the little, creatures that come into the garden, we wanted to turn our entire living room around so that we could enjoy these windows. And we're in the process of doing that. So I want you to know that when you have a native garden, and even if it's not a garden of native plants, but simply a garden of plants that you have allowed to stay standing throughout the winter, you will begin to see so much beauty with how the plants capture frost, how they capture the first snowfall, how they move in the breeze of winter. I have on my sacred walks, which is something that I teach about, and I'll link to the episode that talks about sacred walks so that you can learn more about that as a mindfulness practice and an anxiety relieving practice. When I do my sacred walks around our house in the wintertime, especially if there's been a lot of wind, it never fails me to have the wonder and awe. It never fails that I will experience wonder and awe of seeing the tiny designs that get brushed into the snow from grasses or from plants that are moving in the wind. Sometimes I've seen complete circles where a leaf is stuck in the ground in the snow, the stem is stuck in the snow, and the leaf just is getting blown around in a circle, and it makes a perfect circle in the snow. Now, these are the types of small, simple things that you can find in nature at any time of year that brings you into a place of presence, that brings that sense of peace and wonder and awe, and seeing the beauty that is all around you in all moments when you allow yourself to really open your eyes and especially see the smaller, more subtle beauties. This is so accessible in your garden space. And I want you to experience this year round, not just in the spring and summer, but also in the middle of winter when we need that reminder that everything is about to be reborn. And again, this is the time when the rebirth is starting. This is when that kernel of life, literally in nature with seeds, is being distributed. And that kernel of life is what really allows us to age well and gracefully, to alleviate our anxiety about the aging process, and to see the value, the potential, the opportunities that you also have to bring more into this world, into your world, so you can experience more fulfillment and greater peace. And let's see, I think, yes. So once again, I just want to remind you that you have permission to leave your plants up in the fall. There is no need to cut them down. You do not need to follow all of the guidance from the gardening industry. Whatever you may have heard, you can leave those plants up throughout the winter so that you can continue to experience and to feed into the rebirth that is possible now and throughout the winter months. I would love to have the opportunity to talk with you one-on-one if this kind of teaching and wisdom is something that you feel benefits your life, because so many of us are struggling with anxiety right now. And you have the ability to relieve that anxiety and to hear the loving, wise wisdom of your intuition, the language of your soul. I will help you tap into this through simple practices that you can experience in moments throughout your day that will bring you greater peace, more contentment, and more clarity on where you want to go in your life. It has been such a joy to meet with you today. I look forward to checking in with you again next week to request your free breakthrough session with me and experience what it's like to experience eco-intuitive life coaching. Then I encourage you to click the link down below, or you can go to ournaturalwisdom.com/breakthrough. It would be such a joy to have the chance to talk with you one-on-one and to talk with you about everything that Mother Earth and your soul are offering to you to create a life of greater fulfillment and less anxiety. Once again, you can go to ournaturalwisdom.com/breakthrough to book your free breakthrough session today. It's been such a joy to be with you today. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again next week for another episode of Reclaim Your Peace with Mother Earth. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.